We're just going to start this one. It's on sports.
You never know what might happen when it comes to physical competitions. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 crazy moments in sports. Though sometimes it means unbelievable or good, for this list, we're defining crazy as shocking and bad.
Right about here where Lambert grabs Shumway and down.
We're focusing on displays of bad behavior, violence, and accidents that simply made our jaws drop. The events
That
could
was
have
bad
happened
behavior.
during or after sporting events, as well as away from play.
I already like that this video has given us some sort of criteria as to what they're going to consider crazy, because sometimes the compilation videos are a bit of a mixed bag.
Number 10, the World Series earthquake. This tremor struck the San Francisco Bay Area for 10 to 15 seconds and was caught live on TV because of the ongoing World Series. The MLB's Oakland Athletics and San Francisco Giants were warming up for their third game when the quake hit and had announcers scrambling for an explanation.
So the Oakland A's take.
I'll tell you what, we're having an
Oh, scary.
Measuring 6.9 on the Richter scale, the Loma Prieta earthquake caused over 60 deaths and thousands of injuries.
It's been a frightening scene here. As you can see just below me is where this crack in the Bay Bridge occurred, a 50-foot section.
Number 9.
If you guys remember, it was one of the most expensive mistakes in history videos that we were watching. I think the second. I'll figure out which one and add it down below. They get into the Bay Bridge, how much it cost to repair the bridge, and then all the delays that happened along the way. Wow. Now I want to look into which was the last big earthquake in California as far as fatalities and damage. If you know, let me know. I know it's on the San Andreas Fault, but when I lived there, there was no big earthquake. And this one was only 15 seconds, but 15 seconds in an earthquake, it happens in slow-mo, seemingly. I remember as a kid, they would teach us to put your hands behind your neck and hide under a desk. Or if you're standing, to try to brace yourself in the doorway. In the case that there was an earthquake during a school day, but now that I just said that out loud, I don't think that would be very efficient if the roof caved in, for example. Anyway, I always wondered what the other natural disaster preparedness drills were like for a hurricane or a tornado or other examples of natural disasters that aren't coming to my mind right now. But if you had one, let me know what it was, because now I'm curious.
Tim Donaghy and the NBA betting scandal. It was in 2007 that this basketball referee with a gambling problem shocked the NBA. Associating himself with multiple individuals who were tied to the mob, Tim Donaghy was charged for fixing games to pay off his debts. The gambling scandal resulted in Donaghy receiving a 15-month prison sentence for his involvement and the revision of behavior guidelines for NBA referees.
All right, we got to take a break. Fascinating stuff. Well, I'm glad you're still here, hanging out, and don't do that again. Because I'm the king of doing stupid stuff.
Number 8. Clint Malarchuk's neck is sliced by a skate. Luck was on this Alberta native's side the day the St. Louis Blues faced off against the Buffalo Sabres on March 22, 1989.
That's the story right now with Red. That is the. Oh my God. Oh, please take the camera off and don't even bring it over there.
After Blues player Steve Tuttle accidentally slashed the goaltender's neck with his skate, team trainer Jim Pizzatelli rushed to his rescue and pinched off the bleeding until doctors arrived. 300 stitches and multiple sickened fans and players later, Malarchuk came out alive.
Wow.
That's right. It's part of the game. All right, Clint, thanks very much for joining us, and good luck.
300 stitches. I felt that one. I had to try to stop my eyes from watering there. You know when someone has an injury in a similar spot to one that you have, and you just feel this empathy bubbling up? I just felt that. You know, it's like when you see someone tear their ACL and you've also torn your ACL and you know what that feels like, so it just kind of, you feel their pain for a moment. Ugh. I know a thing or two about a neck injury. Also, I was listening to, who was this? Tyson Fury, the boxer. A video was recommended to me on YouTube Shorts recently, which is random, but he was talking about how during sparring, one of his partners punched him in the neck and it changed the tone of his voice. So then I went back and watched old press conferences with Tyson Fury from about, he had hair then, maybe like 8 years ago, and he did sound a lot different. But then people in the comment section were refuting that that was the case of why his voice changed. I have no reason not to believe him. And personally, I have had an injury that affected my vocal cords and it lowered the pitch of my voice and it never recovered. So I know that it's possible, but looking at the blood on the ice there did something to me.
7. On-court attack of Monica Seles. Tennis is seen as a civilized sport where fans are pretty close to the action, sometimes maybe too close. After defeating Steffi Graf in the Australian Open, Monica Seles was stabbed by one of her rival's obsessed fans during a quarterfinal match in Hamburg. Seles didn't return to the sport competitively for 2 years after the incident.
When I was in a tennis match when this happened, I was doing something that I love, and I never ever expected something like this to happen.
I will never understand being so obsessed with, I don't know, is that an obsession with the sport or the obsession with this person or their opponent that they would hurt someone about it? Fandoms can easily get dangerous. That one's horrible.
Number 6.
Very sad.
Over the Edge with Owen Hart. Wrestling is part competition, part entertainment. So when Owen Hart fell to his death during this pay-per-view event, many fans wondered if it was part of the storyline.
This is not a part of the entertainment here tonight.
Their shock and confusion turned to disbelief and sadness when it became clear it wasn't.
Before we were going to walk out, I just heard them screaming, saying it's not a fake, get a real EMT back here, he's not breathing, the ripcord broke or something, I don't know.
When the safety harness malfunctioned, Hart's chest-first plunge into the top rope had EMTs come running. No footage of the tragedy has ever been officially released. Number 5. The punch-up in Piestani. During the final game of the 1987 Junior Championship between Canada and the Soviet Union, inexperienced referee Hans Runing's failure to make several calls triggered tension. This resulted in a post-face-off fight between two players that turned into a violent battle between both teams. To stop it, officials were forced to turn off the arena lights.
They're trying to turn the lights off, and they turned them off.
The players and coaches involved in the 20-minute bench-clearing brawl received suspensions from the International Ice Hockey Federation.
I don't know what the international rule book calls for in this situation. It's never happened.
Number 4. The 1994-95 MLB Strike. It was because of this work stoppage that the first World Series in 90 years was canceled, and Major League Baseball lost its entire 1994 postseason. After salary negotiations between players and team owners took a turn for the worse, the players felt compelled to strike, and the season came to an abrupt end after several weeks.
I still think this can be settled. The parties are just going to have to decide whether they want to have a baseball season in '95.
Though a Supreme Court decision 232 days later stopped the strike, early low attendance for the 1995 season revealed fans' anger.
I already know what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start rereading Dante's Inferno, because that's where I think they should send the whole lot of them. Back to you.
To hell. I love a good nerdy joke. Dante's Inferno is the most popular book of the three. I don't think it was even the best book of the three. I think Paradiso was the last one. If you've read those, leave your opinion. The Divine Comedy.
Number 3. The Play. After future Hall of Famer John Elway led the Stanford Cardinals offense to what appeared to be a game-winning touchdown, California's Golden Bears managed to return the kickoff down the field.
They're still in deep trouble at midfield. They tried to do a couple of... The ball is still loose as they get it to Rogers. They give it back now to the...
Meanwhile, the Stanford band was storming the field while the play was still going on.
Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone.
Does that count?
Cali was ultimately given the victory, albeit a highly disputed one, and to this day the incident's regarded as one of the sport's most memorable plays ever.
There were flags all over the place. Wait and see what happens. We don't know who won the game.
Number 2, the Le Mans disaster. Because of auto racing's dangerous nature, car crashes come with the territory.
This is huge because you go head on. And that TV does not do that justice. That is an incredible
I've never
impact
seen NASCAR
head on.
before.
Those are the kind of accidents that absolutely are frightening.
However, they seldom have spectator fatalities. Unfortunately, the 1955 24 Hours of Le Mans was the site of both. Pierre Levesque died after his Mercedes crashed into Lance Macklin's car, taking over 80 spectators with him. Those that weren't killed by flying debris likely perished in the fire that erupted when the fuel tank burst.
In a few ghastly seconds, death wipes out whole families. LeVay is killed before his wife's eyes, and some 70 spectators with him. Among the bodies, frantic survivors seek their friends.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
And he pretends to be hurt.
Oh, why'd they pick this one?
This one hurts. Boom! On the chin. Anderson's hurt. That one finishes him off.
I wouldn't have chosen this clip with these two. So Anderson Silva, he's in the yellow shorts, Chris Weidman in the blue. They end up fighting again. Silva versus Weidman 2. That's UFC... I won't try to guess the number. I'll put the number here. But anyway, Anderson throws a kick, which Weidman checks. And that check just crumpled Anderson's tibia. He pulls back. You see the leg is just snapped. It's so hard to look at. If YouTube lets me link that, I will. If not, I'll put it in the description for you to watch after.
Watch this. He checks it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Wow. That's about as obvious as it gets. And as I told you, John, he's out cold.
If you can bear to watch it, take a look, but it's a terrible looking injury.
Oh, shoot. It kind of looked like that.
Moises is unhappy with the fans, but Moises went into the seats. He could have had that ball. A fan interfered with him.
Number 1, the Hand of God goal. It was in 1986 that the FIFA World Cup was the stage of the world's biggest game with the world's biggest football star. Argentina and England faced off in a match that went down in history because Diego Maradona scored not 1, but 2 of the sport's most famous goals ever. First was the Hand of God goal, which he appeared to score with his hand.
It was a bit hard to see.
That controversial goal was let through because the refs had not seen it. 4 minutes later, the Argentine footballer landed the goal of the century when he dribbled the ball past several English players by himself.
Messi has entered the chat. Y también es argentino. Something in the water over there.
Do you agree with our list? What do you think is the craziest moment in sports? If you didn't see a moment you think should be on here,
Mike Tyson
be sure to check out our
biting the ear.
video of the top 10 unsportsmanlike moments in sports and subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
They're going to pull that guy apart.
All right. As far as the compilation, I agree with what they put because I don't expect them to put all of the craziest moments in a top 10. But I would put it in a different order. Anything in which somebody gets extremely hurt or they die, I mean, those are the worst moments for me. Other than that, I liked it. This is from a channel called WatchMojo.com. I'm not sure if I've seen anything from them before, but if you like top 10 compilations and you want to see more on the channel, just let me know down below. Or if you have a channel that you like who does it better, okay, let me know that too. As far as honorable mentions, Mike Tyson biting the ear, Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan. They ended up making a movie out of that with Margot Robbie a few years back. What's another one? Netflix had a documentary on this hockey team called the Danbury Trashers. I believe they were out of Connecticut, and they would get into fights often. That was a fun documentary. I will look for the name of that, add it too, and I thought I had another one in my mind, but maybe not. Oh, Malice at the Palace. If that wasn't the biggest fight in NBA's history, it was one of them. Fans, players, I'll find a clip. other than that, leave your top crazy moments in sports history. I don't have a book recommendation for you today, so I'll put 2 in the next. I was looking for a light video, but that's not how this ended up being, so, you know. This video had me on a roller coaster of emotions. Leave your thoughts. Thank you for watching with me. I'll catch you in the next.